Hey everybody, so I've got another college hockey video here for you where I want to talk about 5 players from Hockey East who are NHL prospects, NHL draft picks that I think that you guys should know about and watch going forward. They're off to pretty good starts this season, and I want to talk about some different players. I've talked a ton already about Jack Dugan and Tyce Thompson and David Ferentz, so I wanted to get some new names on the list here to talk about, and guys who are having just good seasons and are worthy of knowing, and could potentially in the future be impact players for their teams at the pro level. So before we get into it, I just quickly want to remind everyone to please give this video a thumbs up and hit that like button. It greatly helps out the channel. And if you're new, please subscribe and follow along for all my hockey content this season and all year round. So let's get into it here, starting with Tyler Madden of Northeastern University. He is John Madden's son. If you remember John Madden from playing for the New Jersey Devils and Chicago Blackhawks in the NHL. This is his son. He's a Vancouver Canucks draft pick, and he's off to a very good start this year with 8 goals and 6 assists for 14 points in 12 games played. He's a sophomore forward, and I think that he's definitely Vancouver's got a lot of these young, talented guys. Remember Adam Gaudette, who's playing up in Vancouver now. Also from Northeastern, they've drafted Tyler Madden as well, and I think in the future he's going to be an important young player for the Canucks, and he's having a very, very good season so far for Northeastern this year. Another one to talk about is David Cotton, who goes to Boston College. He's a senior forward at BC. He's got 5 goals and 10 assists for 15 points in 11 games played this season. He is Carolina Hurricanes property. So, you know, he's a senior. He's played all his full 4 years at college. So he's not the kind of guy who's going to, play 1 or 2 college seasons and jump to the NHL the way like a Jack Eichel or a Cale Makar did. He's not at that level, but he's probably going to take some AHL seasoning as well before we see him at the NHL level. But he could come in and be a solid bottom 6 forward at some point for the Carolina Hurricanes. And obviously, he's having a very good senior season at BC right now with 15 points in 11 games. Trevor Zegras, I've mentioned him in an earlier video this season, but Trevor Zegras isn't a guy I've talked a ton about. First round draft pick, 9th overall, I believe, by the Anaheim Ducks. Very high draft pick for a college player by Anaheim. Freshman forward at Boston University. He is off to a very, very good start in his freshman year. Over a point per game with 4 goals and 9 assists for 13 points in 11 games played. Plays on the first line already at BU. He is an absolute talent. Very, very strong player. I saw him play earlier this season when BU played PC. He had a great game in that game. He's somebody definitely. Remember that name, Trevor Zegras. Remember that name because he is going to be at the NHL level at some point and probably a very good player at the NHL level at some point. Again, he's only a freshman forward, so he's not, ready to make that jump yet. But he's off to a very good start at BU, and I think we'll see him in an Anaheim Ducks uniform at some point in the next few years. Max Gildon from the University of New Hampshire. Now, UNH doesn't have a great team at this point. They're not one of the better teams in college hockey or anything like that. But Max Gildon, who's a junior defenseman and also Florida Panthers property, is off to a very, very solid start. He's got 4 goals and 8 assists for 12 points in 10 games played. So over a point per game as a defenseman. That's obviously very, very good. And you see that more in college hockey than you do at the pro game for sure. But Gildon's a very solid player. He's a junior now. He's really starting to develop as he gets older. And he's somebody that, again, probably going to spend some time in the AHL when he's done at college, but could potentially be a solid defenseman for the Florida Panthers in the future, and definitely a name to remember and pay attention to going forward, as is our final player here, Zach Jones from UMass Amherst. Freshman defenseman, 11 points in 10 games with 3 goals and 8 assists. Off to a very, very good start. Obviously, Cale Makar, defenseman for UMass Amherst, now playing for the Colorado Avalanche and looks like the rookie of the year so far. Zach Jones is another guy who, after a couple of years at UMass, could end up making the jump straight to the NHL. Obviously, the Rangers have a young team and are not afraid to play young players. Jones, only a freshman this year, probably doesn't make the jump after this season. I think he'll play at least 2, if not 3 years at college, but who knows? But again, as he gets older and develops, I think he's going to be an impact player for the New York Rangers in the future. He's off to a very, very good start at UMass, who's a very good team. He's a big part of their defense already as a freshman. And like I said, 11 points in 10 games as a defenseman. As a freshman defenseman, that is very, very impressive. So Zach Jones is definitely a name to remember, especially if you're a Rangers fan, because I think he's going to be an impact player for the Blue Shirts within the next few years. So those are 5 players that I haven't talked a whole lot about so far this season, but I think that are definitely noteworthy names to know and remember. And they're having very good starts for their respective teams. And they're all NHL draft picks, NHL prospects. So they're names to know going forward for sure. Tyler Madden, Vancouver Canucks draft pick. David Cotton, Carolina Hurricanes draft pick. Trevor Zegras, Anaheim Ducks draft pick. Max Gildon, Florida Panthers draft pick. And Zach Jones, New York Rangers draft pick. These guys are impressive to watch at the college level and could be very, very good players in the NHL someday. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.